just before we start handing out some awards, I'll just do a quick recap on our season and what we got up to. It all sort of started in late January, early February, when we had a reasonably big turnout of boys, probably 30 to 40 of us, which is a bit better from last season, slight improvement. From them boys, there was a squad pick to go to Auckland, 24 boys. That's sort of an annual trip that we have every year at the end of term one. So we went up there, and our first game was against Rugby College, which we just lost to, and which was pretty disappointing, seeing as we beat them the year before. So that meant we moved into third and fourth playoff against Liston College, which is a new college added to that list of teams, and we beat them, which was a good result, good bonus to add to the trip. While we were in Auckland, we billeted with boys from St Peter's. We billeted with them for the first 2 nights, and the last night we billeted with Rosmini boys over on the North Shore, which is always a good experience, billeting with other families, getting to know how they get to school and what they do in their everyday life. So that was a really good experience for us boys in the first 15 to go up to Auckland and experience that, especially when you see them playing on TV up north. They're quite big boys, real physical. It's a lot sort of higher level of rugby, sort of, you could say, from here, but it is still pretty similar. So we got back to Christchurch and moved into the first round robin game, which was against Waimea College, which in previous years are sort of seen as the underdogs of the competition, and but this year they really stepped up their game to beat us 23-10, which is a bit of a shock to our boys. So that was really disappointing. We then moved on to Christ College in round 2, which we ended up drawing with them last year, but this year they sort of beat us in the last dying minutes of the game, 23-15. So, but I think we really took confidence from the previous year into that game, and considering they finished 4th this year, so we really played well against them boys. We then went into a game against St Andrews, which was a fairly messy game in wet conditions. We ended up losing to them as well, so that was pretty disappointing. So we moved on and set a few goals for the next 3 games. Our goal was to beat all them teams, which we did, and the highlight of those 3 games was beating Roncalli College 65-7. So I think that's the highest score the first 15's had in several years. So it was pretty impressive. That was definitely one of our highlights of the season, even though they were they did finish last place, but you know. So after that, we kind of moved into the tougher end of the season, which our first game was Christchurch Boys High. I know our coach, Mr McKendry, was really fizzing for that game. I don't think St Thomas has ever beaten them in history of playing the first 15. So we played there on their $100,000 field and on the grandstand, so we had pretty good crowds there, which was a really cool experience, and we actually lost to them as well, 29-3. Yeah, but I don't think the score really reflected how well we played against such a top side that ended up taking out the UC Cup in the end, so I'm really proud of the boys there. But the game after that was our first bus trip, and that was up to Marlborough, and I don't think the coaches are really enjoying speaking about this, but it was a real tough battle, and I think Marlborough kind of had the local refs on their side, but you know, that's how rugby goes sometimes, so that was disappointing. But I thought that game really brought us together and made us a tighter group, and so we, that game from there we moved into Club Day, which was against Shirley, and as Mr Barclay said, we beat them 32-17. They lost the final by 1 point, so that was the highlight of our season, and it will definitely be a game I'll always remember in my rugby career. From that game, it was another game, the next bus trip to Nelson, which had quite big significance, as we were challenging Nelson to the Moaska Cup. The Moaska Cup, if some of you don't know what it is, it's pretty much the Ranfurly Shield of schoolboy rugby within New Zealand, so it was really special to play for that, and it's been around since 1912, and we did lose that game, but it was in the dying minutes we lost to them. We were actually in the lead and they put a penalty over right in front of the sticks to just take the game, so that was pretty heartbreaking for us considering we'd gone all the way to Nelson. Yeah, but that's again how rugby goes. And after this was the holiday period, and it sort of buggered us up really because we lost all the games after that, which is pretty disappointing. I don't think any of the boys recovered from holiday mode. Yeah, first game back from those holidays was St. Bede's, which was sort of an annual fixture, you could say, within the school. It's sort of a rival match between the two Catholic boys' schools in Christchurch. And I certainly know Mr. McKendry was really fizzing for that game, as he was the last team to beat St. Bede's 32 years ago. So it's been, St. Thomas hasn't had much luck against them in the last year, 32 years, well 33 years now, seeing as we lost to them 22-12. That was for the Marist Albion Trophy, which is something that was introduced a few years ago. After that we played our last round robin game, which was against Timaru. We also lost that about 15-10. The boys really picked up their efforts in the last few weeks, and we're really pleased with what we thought was going to be our last performance in the St. Thomas colours, but luckily it wasn't. We were given a second chance against St. Bede's, so it was pretty special for us to go over there and play them again in our final match final match ever for me it was, in the St. Thomas colours. So we played them and lost just 27-23. We just about brought it home, but not quite, so it was a bit disappointing, but we were pretty proud with the way the boys finished off the season there. And I know for me and the senior boys it was pretty hard for us to walk off that field knowing it was the last game ever we were going to play. But yeah, we're just really thankful for all the support we've had throughout the season. Parents, like younger boys turning up to all the matches, and we know that we've really appreciated you boys turning up to that, and it's really helped us throughout the season. Just before I finish up, I'd just like to thank coaches. Firstly, Mr. Burden, he's been there with me for the last 2 seasons, and the senior boys, and he's really brought a lot to the table, I thought, with his coaching ability and things he's had to offer. So we really appreciate that, Mr. Burden. Thanks very much for that. Secondly, Mr. Biggs, our manager, first year into first 15 rugby. We think he's done a really good job, organising the boys and getting them racked up for games. Also, Mr. Vincent, he's not here today, but I don't think he is. But he's been there right throughout the season, not as a coach, but sort of a motivational speaker, if you could say. So we've really appreciated that and all the things he's done for us. And lastly, Mr. McKendry, he isn't here right now, but because he's moved back up to Auckland to be with his family, so he's been our head coach this year, and he's done a lot to benefit the team, and he's brought us a long way this year, I thought. So even though he isn't here, I'd just like you boys to give him a round of applause. Just to wrap things up, I'd just like to really encourage all you junior boys to get involved within the first 15. It's a sort of a once-in-a-lifetime experience, as Mr. Leader might say. It's probably some of the best rugby you'll ever play in your life, possibly. So definitely get involved with that. And once again, just a round of applause for everyone for the season.